Rachel, I want to kind of fast forward. I want to
Okay.
kind of start going and looking into the future. What's something that you're looking to accomplish, within the business, personal, whatever, within the next 12 months?
Next 12 months. So we are back to quality. We've all been running with our hair on fire. Now is a really great opportunity to say, okay, how is our business operating? What are the opportunities to enhance certain parts of it? Is it our marketing? Is it our touch plan? Is it just our materials? Like, what are the things that we can do? I knew the market change was coming. So in March of last year, I hired a lead gen and marketing manager who got our CRM really where it needed to be. It wasn't just like a database of stuff, we're throwing it in there and then we're running out the door. Um, so really enhancing the marketing aspect, enhancing how we're communicating with our past clients in our sphere. I mean, at this point, we have about 1,000 past clients. That is our book of business. That's where all of our future business should come from. And we pride ourselves on serving clients for life. That's our mission.
Yeah.
So taking a moment to say, okay, how am I reinvesting into what I've already built? And how am I getting more out of that and servicing my people for life at a high level? So we started that in March and really getting our agent team. And there was some resistance because we have to have the lead gen conversation. Nobody has a
Right.
business unless they're generating business. It's
Yeah.
very simple. So getting them back into building the habit of lead generation, and what does that look like? Leads aren't just falling out of the sky the way that they were, and we're just catching and running. Now we have to be strategic and intentional. How are our conversations? What scripts do we need to employ? What successes are we having? What struggles are we having? How can we work together to overcome those? So we kind of started the reset in March of last year, and there was the natural resistance of change, which I think
Yeah.
anybody feels. And
Right.
then
Right.
we're tired. So then we're like, okay, work through that. And now we're like really excited about what we can accomplish together this year. So the next 12 months for us is quality so that we can start to gain equitable market share.
Yeah. And I think when you're talking about running a business, you mentioned the past clients, right? It's like, what systems do we need to have in place, right? So we're not, there'll be times where things slip through the cracks and,
Right.
you got to tweak things, but, to where it's not always people dependent, right?
Mm-hmm.
System dependent, all of those things. And, it's awesome that, you recognized early on, that the shift and the change in the market was coming. You had that experience in 2015 of what it was like. I always tell agents in the last, 8 months that 2021 and 2020, it was easy
Mm-hmm.
to get a client. It was hard to get a buyer in the contract, right? It
Right.
was as far as having a
Different set of
conversation.
challenges.
Yeah. As far as having the conversation, people being like, hey, I would like to sell, or hey, I would like to buy, that part was easy.
Right.
Now it's hard to have the conversations, or it's harder to have the
Yeah.
conversations, but it's easier to get that buyer in the contract, right?
Yeah.
And those are two different skill sets, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's two different mindsets of, like you were talking about, the follow-up, getting back to some of the basics,
Mm-hmm.
understanding conversation flow, understanding, I would say, what, agents need to get to the point where what words you use will matter. it,
Yeah.
it will affect the conversion percentage for you. 12 months ago, 18 months ago, 24 months ago, it didn't matter.
So
Put aside.
simple. You want to buy a house? You want to sell a house? Yes? No? Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
now
But
that
now
stuff
it's like, okay,
matters.
let's ask better questions. Let's dig a layer deeper. Let's find some motivation. Really qualifying our pipeline, because I think a lot of us can lie to ourselves. I was talking with an agent. He's like, I'm so busy. I have 6 listings going up. I got 20 buyers. And I'm like, I'd be curious if we ask some layered questions, really what pipeline you're working with. Or are you just busy?
Yeah, I love it. What's a goal of yours that you want to accomplish in the next 5 years?
5 years. So one of the big goals is growing this business beyond myself. Um, Really leveling it up to allow growth opportunity for people that have committed to our organization, um, watching them kind of level up their success. And so I find it to be my responsibility to grow beyond myself again and groom people that have committed to Millennium Group and committed to this process with us. They've earned it. And so, what layer can I provide for them to greater enhance their life and their business?
That's awesome.
So, is that a director of sales role that takes over my position? What does that look like?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what do you think that you have to put in place in order to get there?
It's going to take a couple key people, and it's going to be on the sales and growth.
Yeah.
growth and retention. Those are going to be the biggest ones, is how we're building our team. And again, it's quality. We know every agent is not a Millennium Group agent. We have high
Right.
standards here. We have high expectations. It's our culture. We are a productive culture. That is not for everybody. It is
Yeah.
not for average. Um, so finding the right people to be a part of the organization to allow other people within the organization to grow, and myself grow as well.
Yeah. I was at I mean, that's, the agent attraction and retention piece is huge.
Mm-hmm.
I was at an event last year, and the number one agent at our brokerage at EXP said the majority of team leads, the reason why they're not growing and not scaling is because they don't have an agent attraction and retention strategy. We have a buyer and seller attraction and retention strategy, but from a leadership standpoint, if we don't keep continually looking for good talent to add to our organization and then keeping the talent that we have, it's going to be hard for you to truly scale,
Yep.
to the business that you want to do. And I was like, that was like kind of my light bulb. Like, okay, like I knew it, right? Like, so I always say, like
Everybody
sometimes
knows it. Yeah.
sometimes you're just in that moment, it finally clicks, right?
Yeah. And I think it's changing the mindset of, we're not just looking for people. I don't need bodies. I don't need breath and hearts. Like, I need quality people. I'm looking for people that have committed to a career in real estate, that
Yeah,
aren't just testing the waters. I'm looking for people that have a good business but are looking to level up their business or find leverage so that they can have the lifestyle that they want. Maybe they're an independent agent and they're doing 40 deals a year, and their relationship struggling. They're not having time with their kids. All the things that happen behind closed doors that nobody wants to show you. And then they walk
yeah,
out and they put a smile on. Um, that's the opportunity, is working together. It's very challenging to be a solo agent, and I've never been successful on my own. I've honestly never walked this career by myself alone. And
mhm,
so I'm a firm believer in better together and
yeah.
growing together, and we can all have more together.
Oh, I love it. I got a couple more questions. I want to be
Okay.
respectful of your time. What's a legacy goal for you? What's a goal that you want to accomplish when you're no longer here?
Ooh, a goal that I want to accomplish when I am no longer breathing on this earth. Everything for me is about my kids. So I have a 21-month-old and a 6-month-old, and everything is about them. So the business that I'm building is an opportunity for their future selves. And if they have no interest in real estate, that's totally fine. What else am I using this business to build for them? Is it their savings plan? Is it their college fund? Is it their first rental property that I hand down to them? Right now, we currently have one for each of the kids. So, you know, what does that look like? And
Yeah.
I describe it this way: my parents sacrificed, but I came out of college with zero student loan debt.
Wow.
That is a huge leg up on a lot of my peers coming out of college.
Yep.
And I worked at the alumni phonathon. So I went to school, and it was when the market crashed. So 2007, 8, 9, 10.
Yep.
Um, and I would be calling people, asking people for money during the market
Right.
crash.
Right.
And they're like, "We're not giving you any money. Are you kidding me? We can't even find a job." And I'm like, and at that point when I was young, I didn't realize what was happening.
Right.
Um, and then I get out of college, and and they were telling me on the phone, they're like, "I can't get a job. I got all this student loan debt. I can't donate to Ohio Northern. I can't even pay my student loans."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, well, next call." And I didn't realize how much of a leg up my parents putting me in that position provided, and my husband's parents put him in that position as well. And so I think that accelerated kind of our wealth journey, um, as we, kind of started building our own things. And so that's
Yeah.
been really important to us, is what platform am I laying for my kids
No,
so
that's
that they
awesome.
can have a leg up whenever they're adults or whenever they need it.
That's awesome. I love it. And now we know why you crushed the phones with the leads, because if you can call and ask for money for donations during that time, you can handle any rejection and objections on the real estate side. That part's easy.
Yeah. All I know was I needed a little job so I could have a little fun on the weekends during college. So, um, and
No
that was
wonder
available.
no wonder the phone skills are on point.
I'm sharpening them back up. I'm sharpening them
Yeah.
back up. But
Yeah. Rachel, thank